Hi friends, I am Dr. Karamat. This is Scientific Doctor channel. This week we are going to discuss about this H3N2 outbreak or the panic regarding this in India and elsewhere. If we first understand about this H3N2 outbreak, we need to understand about influenza. What is this H3N2? This is influenza A virus H3N2 variant. Flu or influenza has been around since many thousands of years before, probably even before Christ. Even it existed in the BC. And this is a peculiar virus which changes its huriya badal jati hai. That means in Hindi they say it changes its outer shape and color, so that your immune system is not able to mount a good immune response, so that you are susceptible again, vulnerable again. So every year, since there is a minor change, flu can occur in outbreaks, smaller epidemics every year. So this is not new, and every few decades once it changes drastically, and there is a pandemic potential. This drastic change happened in 2009-10 when avian, swine, that is from the pig, and the human influenza viruses, their genetic materials mixed up, and there was a novel H3N2 strain. Then it was to pandemic levels. What about H3N2? This H3N2 has been around since 1968. It is not a new virus. We have to understand that this is not a new virus. And anybody who has taken vaccination for influenza this season would already have taken vaccine against H3N2 also, because the standard influenza vaccine contains H1N1, H3N2 and two subtypes of B virus, influenza B virus. So what is this hue and cry about H3N2? Influenza occurs in outbreaks, and it is a yearly illness. It is a seasonal disease. So do you mean to say that it doesn't cause any problems? No, I don't mean to say that. Any disease in biology, you can't just bracket that it is a very simple disease or it is a very complex disease. It can be a very serious disease in a certain individuals, whereas it can be a simple disease in others. It is true for any viral disease. Similarly, flu or influenza, specifically H3N2, also can be a simple fever, a flu-like illness, or in some persons can cause serious problems. Influenza generally causes serious problems in under 5, young children, elderly more than 65 years of age, especially with heart disease, lung disease, renal failure. All these vulnerable, immunodeficient individuals in vulnerable population, it can create problems. Even among other age groups, in very few numbers, it can cause problems. What are the signs and symptoms in H3N2? It is just like any other influenza. Similar to flu, you will get fever, cold, throat pain, sore throat, cough, severe cough leading to sometimes even breathing difficulties. They can have vomiting, sometimes even diarrhea. So all these are common to flu. This also occurs during this specific H3N2. So what should you do? You should do as you do generally for any disease. For any respiratory simple viral illnesses, if there is fever, you take paracetamol. But if it extends beyond probably 1 or 2 days, or you have any danger signs, or if this disease occurs in vulnerable populations, very young children, or very elderly people, or in those high risk groups, then you immediately get them to a doctor. A qualified medical professional will be able to assess for the disease, for the danger signs, for the signs and symptoms in that particular individual, the stage of the disease, the requirement for treatment. Not all individuals with flu require specific anti-flu medications, but in specific individuals, if it is started early, it has beneficial effect. What does it mean? There are already anti-flu medications and there is no need for everybody to take anti-flu medication. So this has to be assessed by the qualified medical practitioner. So what is this huge hue and cry that this is happening for the first time? No, this is not the first time. H3N2 is not new and influenza is not new. So there is increased awareness after COVID that any outbreak, minor or major, is blown out of proportion, and people have this notion the government is not doing enough to control this outbreak. This is a respiratory illness which spreads through when you cough or sneeze through respiratory droplets. How can government do something about it? We have to be cautious. We have to take cough and hand hygiene precautions. We have to cover your nose and mouth whenever you have sneezing or coughing. So by this you can prevent spread to others. There is no way that there is a threat like a COVID-19 pandemic, so that the government institutes very harsh measures like complete lockdown. No, that is not needed. What is needed is common sense in us public, so that when we are sick we don't go to public places, and when we cough or sneeze we follow hygienic precautions. That is what is needed. That is what is the prevention required also. Can you take vaccines? Definitely yes. You can get vaccines for influenza, especially if you are in the high risk group. Hopefully this video would have cleared your confusions, doubts regarding this influenza H3N2 specifically. If you have any more doubts, kindly mention in the comments below. Till we meet again, bye.